It's May 8th, 2020, and I must be feeling good because it's Friday. You feeling good, Anthony?
It's Friday, so I'm feeling great, my brother. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. It is Friday, and we are feeling good. Anthony, I'm feeling good. We're at the end of another week, and boy, what a great week we've had so far, huh?
We've had a great week, and we have somebody really big coming on Monday. Are we allowed to announce that?
We are allowed to announce it. David Kong, the CEO of Best Western, here noon on Monday. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that.
So Monday, David Kong, legend, CEO of Best Western, and he's going to have a lot to say. I've met him a few times in my career, and I cannot wait to talk to him. So today is Feel Good Friday, right?
Well,
so
I got to say something about David before we get moving. All right,
go
just
ahead,
because he is one of the nicest, most genuine people that I have met on the executive level. He's open and he's honest, and we are going to have such a great conversation with him because of that. He's super realistic, and he's a hard scrabble guy that worked his way up from a job at a Hilton as at the lowest rungs all the way up to a CEO of a major hotel company. So that's going to be inspirational. Just wanted to get that out. Anthony, what do you got to say?
No, we said it all, so I don't need to say anything about that. But today's Feel Good Friday. We're going to do something a little bit different. Last week, we were talking about your psychological health, and we drank a little bit. Today, we're going to be talking about your LinkedIn page again and what's going on in the job market. So it's not really at the same high energy Feel Good Friday. We usually do it with musical guests like Craig Morgan or Brian Newman. But we think it was really important because we had such great feedback from these two guests last time. We invited them back. And who are they, my friend?
All right. We're going to have Joe Rice and Mark Galvin coming up in just a second. But, Anthony, you're completely wrong. We are going to have musical guests because I am going to sing the entire HMS Pinafore at the end of this show. So you don't worry about that. If you want to be wowed, if you want to be taken away, if you want to not feel good on a Friday, then stick around to watch me sing.
Are our guests coming on anytime soon?
This is why I love this guy. All right. We are back. Mark Galvin with ePresence and Joe Rice with JDI. Guys, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it, and I'm sorry that you're going to have to deal with Anthony's refusal at laughing at everything I say.
Yeah, and I just realized as I moved my desk, there was way too much space behind me, so I moved it back. So how are you, gentlemen? How's everything?
Good.
Doing well.
Well, you guys
are back on the show. Made me feel great last time I was on, so we had to come back.
Yeah, we beat you up. You felt great, huh?
All right, let's get that call real quick.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. All right. So welcome back, guys. I really appreciate you being here. And the whole purpose of today is we're going to help you guys rev up your careers up there with the help from them. And I think the best way to do it, we're going to get started because Joe, when he was here a couple of weeks ago, Mark gave him some valuable tips on how to improve his profile. So I think the great way to start is for us, maybe, Joe, to bring up your profile. And let's take a look at it. Mark, do you want to bring up Joe Rice's profile by hitting the share screen?
Maybe you bet. Let's get that.
Now, hold on, guys. Before you open it.
Hold
on.
All right.
Refresh. I'm adjusting my picture. It didn't change properly when I made the adjustment. And that was something I want to also just kind of say, I embarrass pretty easily. And last week I felt a little self-conscious. So I decided to go in and change my photo.
I think there's a joke in here somewhere.
I'm hoping because we don't have the therapist on from last week to deal with the fallout.
I'm just saying it was great feedback, but I embarrass easily, so I had to make some changes. So let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, here we go. Let's get in here, take a look. Yes, sharing my screen. I want that one. Screen 1, screen 2. I think this is the one I want. Go. All right.
All right, I guess I have to bring it in here. Boop. Let's see what happens when I do that. Ooh, yeah. Look at that.
All right.
Oh, so, my goodness, Joe.
I just want to say that I don't know what you did to your profile picture, but this thing looks great. I'm so impressed. So, I'm just going to let all of you know, when you are working on your LinkedIn profile, you definitely want a six-pack to show on your profile picture.
Right. Is that a Joe Marky Mark Rice over there? Is that what's going on?
So, Joe, why is this important?
Well, I was really self-conscious about all that feedback, so I thought this would be, a little bit more appropriate for the audience. So, I just thought we'd go ahead and take a look at that. It seems like you approve. I did good.
So besides your picture, which I will not even comment on, what other changes have you made to your profile picture?
In all honesty, I haven't made any changes yet, but I thought it would be funny to look at a picture of Mark Wahlberg flexing his muscles. I mean, who doesn't feel good looking at Mark Wahlberg flexing? I mean, come on.
Well, I could think of some other people I'd rather look at for the record.
And breaking news, we got a question here for you. We want to know, Jeff, about your chest waxing regimen, please.
Oh man, no comment. No comment.
All right, I guess it's a secret. You'll have to use Joe Rice's services to find out how to get a job and wax your chest.
All right, so do we want to jump into some other profiles? Anthony, you want to look at yours?
Oh, I would love to.
All right, well, let's do that. Let's get in here. Let's see what we got.
Since I'm embarrassed, I can't imagine how the audience feels right now. So let's go on to somebody that actually has a jacket on. Go ahead.
This is great. I really, first of all, I love landing on your profile. I love your banner. So the banner piece back here is so important. It's the difference between a 5-star, 5-diamond resort feel. This is a profile that feels like someone who's paid a lot of attention to it. So this is good. I do like this a lot. I would love for you to change your profile picture. And here's why. I can't see your eyes, right? When you walk up, you meet somebody for the first time and they have sunglasses on. Don't you wish they would take the sunglasses off?
Absolutely. And for 10 years on my set, my director and producer has been trying to get me to take my sunglasses off when I'm outdoors. So good luck with me taking that profile picture down.
I love that.
You're 100% right. I should take my glasses off. I'm not going to change that picture. I love that picture. To me, it feels like that's kind of who I am. But typically I would listen to everything you have to say, but I love that picture too much.
So, and this is something important, right? If you love your profile picture, then you should stick with it. And I'll give you guys a tip. This is what I do is I go to a website called photofeeler.com. Did I bring that up a couple weeks ago?
I don't remember. I was thinking about getting drunk after the show.
So the website photofeeler.com is a great place to check out your own photo. And the reason is it's a crowdsourced site. So you can pop on there and drop in a photograph and get just random people telling you if your picture looks competent, if it looks likable, if it looks influential. So here are some examples. There we have a female model here. You can see we dropped in a bunch of pictures. We found jackets make a difference. We found that beards, so this is me with the beard, me without a beard. Beards are actually makes people more likable. So this is a great place that you can go drop a profile picture and get an immediate reaction from just people's first impression on your profile. Because you know what? Right. Just like what Anthony shared a second ago on his own profile, we have biases about our own profile picture. So if you want to get your own sort of biases about where you think you look more, you look better. This is a great place to figure out how you can look competent, influential, and likable all at the same time.
Yeah, and I agree, because if I saw that picture and I didn't know me and I didn't have if I wasn't in the public eye, I would think that picture is a little bit, for lack of a better word, not likable. It looks like I'm full of myself. And I look at all the things that as I said about Joe's picture last week, was like, it looked like he was like a little too overconfident. I feel the same thing about my picture, but I think because I'm in the public eye and people know who I am, I think it's an acceptable picture, but I am going to put it on there. I'm going to drop it in there and I'm going to see what people think.
The one thing I'm confused about is how do we connect with you to go out on a date, Mark? That I didn't get that part from all of them.
Wait a minute. The dating piece I didn't get into, but you can plug that in on this site.
Right, okay.
You can.
No, but I think You know, this is really, really helpful to our audience, and I really appreciate you bringing that up. I never knew this existed, but I would imagine people listening, if I was them and I'm at home, I would absolutely drop my picture in there immediately and see what the feedback is.
Yeah, these are the things that we just don't think about at all, right, Anthony? This is falling into the world of we didn't know this stuff, and how awesome it is to untap this discovery here and get all this great information.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm actually probably going to change it now that I look at it. And guys, if you look at with people who searched me, also searched John Taffer and Guy Fieri. And if you look at Guy, he's looking right in the camera and he's all in. So if Guy can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, you know, Guy needs a banner behind his photo, but yeah, I will tell you, here's something else. I often say you don't want to have a profile picture with you drinking an alcoholic beverage. That's not a good thing either. However, in my training, I have a photograph of a guy. He's drinking a beer, but he's the brewmaster of a brewery, so that works. So sometimes the rules don't apply. And Anthony, I will tell you from a branding perspective, and because you host your own TV show, this probably works. So I'm not going to tell you that you should absolutely change it. For the average person who doesn't have their own TV show, you know what? This is not good, because if I'm looking at hiring someone and I can't see their eyes, I may not think about it. I may not overtly decide, oh, I'm not going to hire Anthony because he has sunglasses on. I may move on to someone else and just like them more and connect with them more just through their profile. And I'll be interested. I'll look at them earlier. And I'm not thinking this as a hiring manager. Oh, don't want Anthony. I'm just going to like the other person more. And that's what this is all about. And Anthony, this is what you're doing. It's branding. How do you brand yourself? Because this is your own personal website. LinkedIn is your own personal website. How are you going to present that brand? So important. And you want people to like it. You want people to want to see, they want to see you that as influential, as competent, and likable.
Hey, Mark, people are asking about that website again for the photographs. I totally blanked on the name. Could you please share that again?
Photofeeler.com. PHOTO feeler.com. You know what I'll do is I'll drop that.
Yes, there we go. It's up. We already got the banner going. Thank you, Anthony. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I should have told him about that in advance.
What I was going to say actually was, if I was applying for a general manager role or director of operations or senior vice president or even president of a hotel company role, that would not be my LinkedIn picture. 100%. That wouldn't even be a thought in my mind. But because I'm a keynote speaker and because I'm the person that kind of helps you understand the hospitality industry, I think that picture is very much within my brand. But I can absolutely hear what you said. What other things on my LinkedIn page do I need to improve on?
So keeping in mind who you are, a couple of things I think are important is looking at your headline. I love what you're doing here, and this makes good sense. All of us can learn from this. You're sharing quality information. You don't necessarily have to say that you're with RGO. Am I going to pronounce it right?
It's actually my own company, but it's RJO.
RJO. Okay, good.
So it's RJO.
Very important to make sure I say that correctly, because it's over here. It's on the right side of your screen. You don't need to have that in your headline. So you got 120 characters here, so you can plug in more words here, lose your company name, leave president, but you could put in things, keynote speaker, host, executive producer, what other key words that someone, if they're searching for you, and let's think about this. We want people to be able to find you. What words really speak to your audience? How will they search for you? This is all search engine optimization. So
I would say the most important I would take out president and I would put Glenn's assistant. I think that's the most important.
Oh, I think, yeah, that makes good sense. Is it just assistants? I thought you were his, his runner, his little whipping boy.
There's a word I want to use, but I won't use it. But yeah, I'm not. But no, I get your point. So what other things can I improve on?
So this is good, and I like that you've got your email up here. For everyone else, I want you to think about this. Your LinkedIn profile is your business card. So if I'm going to track you down, I want to be able to click your contact information here. And when I click that, here is where your email, and you've got two different emails. So you have another email here. And I encourage to have a phone number here. I don't encourage your personal cell. This is a very important thing. Personal
that
cell.
email's got to go. That's my personal email. Why is my personal email up there?
Oh, good. So let's make this really big.
Oh, no. Take that out. Take that out. Take that off the screen. Thank you very much. I got to go change that right away.
So, yeah. So you do want to make sure the email that is there, it works, and also have a phone number there that people, if they can reach you. Now, for you, Anthony, it would be the office number, right? A number where you want your business calls to come into. If you're an individual, I encourage you to go to Google Voice.
Right.
So, and I'll pull up the URL and we can put this in the notes. Google Voice will give you a free phone number, and you can forward that phone number to your cell phone.
That's very helpful because I've been starting to get phone calls that I'm like, where did you get my number? Where'd you get my number? And I realize it's on my LinkedIn profile. And I typically don't mind that, but it is starting to get a little strange sometimes.
Yeah. And here's the great thing about using Google Voice is you can set up that number. By the way, I dropped in the URL and it has some other things in there. When you guys drop it in, it's just voice.google.com. Yeah, lose the UO calls. That's going to throw people off. Just give them the voice.google.com. So here's what's great. You have that number in there. It's your number forever. So what you can do with that is you can forward that to the office number or forward it to your cell or forward it someplace else. But here's what's important. Like a business card, if someone lands on your business, lands on your LinkedIn profile, you want them to be able to contact you. You are not supposed to put your phone number in your headline. That breaks the terms and conditions of LinkedIn. They can send you a nastygram. They can close down your account. So don't do that. Just put it there under your contact information.
Great, that makes sense. Joe, what do you think about this? Now that he's laid out a lot of stuff, so you're obviously looking at LinkedIn profiles when you're in thinking about recruiting people and sussing them up. And so, are you starting to realize that maybe you had some unconscious thoughts about people and hoping that maybe they have Marky Mark pictures so you could feel good about hiring them?
Do not put a picture of Marky Mark on your profile. I've had a lot of thoughts about LinkedIn lately, and I think we're going to see a shift. This used to be a place where employers and recruiters came to find you as a candidate. I mean, that's in a lot of ways, if I was looking for a service of some sort, or I wanted to find Anthony, I would probably take to Google to kind of look him up. He might be more influential on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or other kind of social media channels as maybe on the entertainer side of his business. I think LinkedIn is going to become a place of influence and branding. I think it's going to be really hard to go look for people on LinkedIn. There's just so many people that are looking now. How do you stand out? And I think LinkedIn is going to be a place where top executives, whether they're currently furloughed or unemployed, or you're a CEO or a president like Anthony, you're going to brand yourself and build a presence about yourself here, just like you would on social media as a professional would. And you're going to put out content, and you're going to connect with the people that you want to influence. At the end of the day, when you put something out to social media, everybody can see it. On LinkedIn, you can go target the people that you want eyeballs on you, because once you're connected, they have a stream that receives whatever you're pushing out to the world. And I think if you're a president or CEO and you want top talent to work for you in 6 months, the way you brand yourself on LinkedIn will impact that. I think I think also if you're a CEO that wants the next big job as a CEO or a managing director of a hotel, the way you brand yourself here is going to create a positioning in the mind of hiring managers, and you're going to have a position in there if you can brand yourself here. And I've seen candidates that are furloughed that are actually doing a great job of this. They're out of a job, pushing content out, and they're moving up in my mind as a top-notch executive because of how they're branding themselves on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think Shannon, who's an executive out in Vegas, I think she did a great job. She's been on our podcast before, and she does she drives a lot of content, especially about Vegas. So I can't agree with you more. But
Yes.
where does that put the executive search firms?
Yeah, I don't know that it changes anything with executive search firms. I think the same law applies. I think if we want to attract top talent, there's a little bit of push. The push is just the proactive, I'm coming after you. But I think there's the pull. I think you have to pull people in to have an awareness of you to be able to break through to share your message. If
Right.
I cold call and you have I don't have a position in your mind as being anything, it's hard for me to get any response back. I've got to capture some mind share. And I think this applies to recruiters in that way.
All right, so I got a question for you, Joe. We got a lot of people watching right now on Facebook, on Anthony's fan page, on my No Vacancy news page. So people like to communicate via Facebook. And one of the things that I recall, a number of years ago was be careful about what you post on Facebook. It's going to destroy your career. If you've ever had any fun in your life and let anyone know about it, that's it. It's over. Is that Is that a reality right now? Or are people able to say, these social media sites are more about who I am as an individual, and this is a site and LinkedIn is a site where I should be viewed as a professional? Or is it all mixed together? And if it is all mixed together, should we care? Shouldn't we care? How do you go through all that?
I think whatever you put out there, it's out there. And for me, I just told my team this yesterday. We saw somebody posting some really strong opinions on LinkedIn, political opinions, kind of dissing on people, going in and leaving comments that are negative. If it doesn't help you, if it doesn't advance you forward, if it doesn't enhance your image as a professional, for me, I don't know why you'd do it. I don't know why you'd take to a public channel where someone can take a screenshot and capture what you said forever and put something out there that's negative. Now, when it comes to humor and being funny, I personally, I think authenticity is the way people should be able to live. I think you should be able to be your true self. Don't cross lines. Don't alienate or polarize people. But I do like a certain level of authenticity, and that's more my thing. That's the way I choose to be, and I'm more kind of like, if you like it, great, and if you don't, that's fine too.
Right, but you used a very good point. You don't polarize and don't to me. If it doesn't serve you, why have it out there? And again, being in the public eye, you're very careful what you say and what you don't say. And personally, I don't talk about my political views to most of my friends or to really anybody. So why would I put it out there for everybody to make a judgment when they don't know me? Right? People think they know me because I'm on TV, but people don't know me, and maybe they're getting to know me more now that I'm doing this every day. But I think that's a really, really good point. And because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for someone to get along with a lot of different people in my business. So if you're going to get along with a lot of people in my business and you're putting out there, you can't control yourself, where you can literally click or not click, and you can literally put the camera on yourself or not put the camera on yourself, and you can't control yourself and stop your really polarizing comments. What are you going to be like in the lunchroom?
That's a good point. We like to say at ePresence, you don't talk about politics, sex, or religion unless you're in the business of politics, sex, or religion.
Right.
If you're Dr. Ruth Westheimer, that's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just aged myself because Joe's like, who's that? Joe, do you have any idea?
And stick around for the end of the show where we interview Dr. Ruth. Oh, Dr. Ruth. She was the best, man. She told me everything about sexuality after hours. She had this Sunday night show. I think it was probably syndicated. And this is for all the young people there who don't know. In like the late 70s, early to mid 80s types of things. And she really had real frank conversation about sexuality, the type of stuff that moms and dads didn't talk about, the stuff that you didn't know, all of it. It was really helpful and educational. She was really the first one who did that sort of thing, way before Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew did it.
And I know exactly who she is, by the way, Anthony. Dr. Ruth Westheimer, born June 4th, 1928, better known as Dr. Ruth, is a German-American sex therapist. See, I know who she is.
Can we mute him?
That was not Wikipedia, I promise.
Was that her LinkedIn profile?
No. But so is there anything else? Was there anything else on my LinkedIn that you found that would help me, or is it basically? Because I really don't like, the only really thing I looked at LinkedIn for is people, when they're looking for me for a keynote speaking engagement, that's usually where they find me, or they go through my agencies that I'm involved in, or my agent. So really, I'm not really looking for LinkedIn for anybody to really find me, because if you really want to find me, it's pretty easy. DM me on any of my social media pages. So really, I use it really for if somebody's interested in hiring me as a keynote speaker, and that's where I get most of besides my agencies, most of the contact.
Sure. So you're probably,
I can bring back up his profile. Boom.
Yeah, you're probably not the best example because you're not out there looking for a job. But here's what's important, and you just said this, and we all need to think about this. What's our mission? And you need to sit down and write down, what is your personal mission? My mission is to get a job, or my mission is to get a promotion, or my mission is to get a return on LinkedIn, i.e., I need to get more sales. I want to meet new clients. What is your mission? And then put yourself in the shoes of your now audience. Now that you identified your mission, it's easier to figure out who your audience is. And what does your audience want to see? How can they find you? They can find you best using some keywords. You need to have all those keywords that your audience will use to find you. And Anthony, you're doing that. That is what your mission is on your profile. If you're looking for a job, you need to change some things. Number one is, if you want Joe to find your profile, you've got to go to settings in your LinkedIn profile and go to the job seeking preferences and tell recruiters, here we go. So you come in here, let recruiters know you're open to opportunities.
Oh, wow.
Click here, and you need to say yes. Now, this is funny. I say yes, and I'll tell you what I have it on there is because I want as many people to hit my profile as possible, because that makes you show up higher in search results. Now, with this on, all right, if it's on, here's what happens. You go back to your profile. What you're going to see at the top of your profile page, this little box appears, open to job opportunities. Now you click this pencil, and I can say, what do I want? I'm open to job titles, so I have to plug in my titles here. Where do I want them? You say all that. And then at the bottom, I can say, who do I want to see this? Everybody on LinkedIn or only recruiters? Whatever the case is, you're going to want to have recruiters only. But this is, and who was that just moaned? Was that you?
That was me. The reason why I did that, Mark, is because I was just sitting here thinking, well, what if I want to be open to opportunities, but I'm afraid my boss or my company is going to find out?
Right.
That's a good point. Really good point.
Yeah. So if you click only recruiters will be notified, because a lot of the revenue that LinkedIn generates comes from recruiters. Actually, that's not necessarily true. About 30% of LinkedIn users, maybe 35% of LinkedIn users are paying for the service. So they really are a pay-to-play kind of social media site, unlike everybody else. And so recruiters, and Joe may be able to tell you from his end, how does this happen? When I click this, how do I now show up on that recruiter's side? Because I don't have that type of account. But this little box will appear on people's profiles. If you say it's public, then all the job details will appear right here below it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Joe?
We and a lot of recruiters will get an enhanced version of LinkedIn, which everyone here has, and we can identify individuals by the ones that are looking. You can also indicate where you're looking, if you're open to relocation and things like that. So it can help us drill in more quickly to those who said, I'm looking, before maybe you start to dive into the pool of candidates who say they're not. You can have some quick, conversations.
Right. So where's the setting to find only buff or super buff candidates?
Yeah, where is that? that has to exist for me. I mean, you guys
I know. I'm gonna go write them a note. All right. So this is really just super fascinating. So there's a whole lot of things that we could do with our profile that we weren't even aware of, and it's really funny because I see, like, under your name, Mark, those two boxes there. I have them on my profile as well, but they're hidden to you because I've got show recruiters, you're open, and it says get started with it, or showcase services and get started with it. So I didn't even think about it. It's been sitting here in front of my face. Shouldn't I be showcasing these services that I offer? Oh, there we go.
So here's what I see. So as your connection, I don't see those boxes. Right. But if you go to my profile, you will see this box, this providing services will appear because I have that turned on so you can see it. And so that's also in the settings. And this is a great place where all salespeople should go in and make sure that they click this on, and you go into settings. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm kind of working on another screen in here. I will drop the help screen links into the private chat that we can put up for the job opportunities and the providing services, so people can quickly get to that.
You know, one of the things you said last week, if I remember correctly, about your resume is don't really tell you, like, if you're a general manager, what you do as a general manager. Everybody knows what a general manager does. But how did you separate yourself? And in these times, I just gave a little, I was supposed to do a commencement speech this week for my university. So I did a few minute quick one for everyone that's obviously they're not doing it in person. And one of the things I said was, now is the time for everyone to show what you can do for a company that they're not even thinking about. Being creative. Like, what does this look like post, when we can get out of this? What does that company look like? And they may be so busy laying people off and bringing people on and trying to survive and financial issues that they're not really thinking 6 months from now or even a year from now. So right now, to me, is whatever was in your background that made you stand out is what you need to put on LinkedIn. You need to talk about. I would even do some videos, and I would even get a YouTube channel and really start being the expert in your field, or in what, like, if you turned around a hotel and you use the marketing idea or you use something creative, I would talk about that and I would write about that. And that, to me, I want somebody to be separated, because unfortunately 90% of the people out of work, and there's a lot of really good executives out there. And if I look at their resumes, they're all going to look the same to me after a while. So I really want something that's going to say, I've not done this. I have not been through a pandemic, but I've been through some pretty serious stuff. I was right after 9/11. I was, the general manager of a hotel right downtown. And this is what I do with first responders. This is how I help my employees. This is how I brought my employees back. So you can't always do that on LinkedIn through just content, maybe a video, written content, maybe a video. So I really think, to your point, Mark, you've really got to spend a big part of your time right now getting that message out.
And I will tell you, you said something I think is really important, and that's the video piece. If anyone can go to YouTube and drop a video, so I do encourage folks to do this. There is something important to mention that any of my LinkedIn professionals out there that know LinkedIn well will say, wait a minute, you don't want to use YouTube, you should use Vimeo. Vimeo's the video hosting site that LinkedIn sees as native, so it's not bad to use that. I think here's why I use YouTube instead. YouTube is the second largest social media engine in the world. So if you're going to post content, go ahead and put it on YouTube, because you'll reach a much larger audience. But take a video and drop it, and then you can put it in your featured section. So, hey, Glenn, pull up my screen again. I'm going to show this. You got
it. Boom.
So so here we are looking at a profile. I did a little shrink. I shrank it down a little bit. So you see the headline up here. As I go down, there's this section called featured. Down here, halfway down, this is a newer section on LinkedIn. These tiles used to appear on the bottom of the about / used to be called the summary. They used to appear down here. Now they're in this section. You ought to create a video that shares why you do what you do and why you're passionate about it. So think about it. Yeah. I will tell you, Anthony, if I were to ask you, hey, can you do a video that said, why do you do what you do and why are you passionate about it? It would take you 2 seconds to do it. Take a video, record it, drop it in here, and you just hit the little plus button here, and you can drop in media. Sharing that, again, will reduce the barriers of people wanting to reach out to you for a position, because they know more about you. Keep it professional.
Mark, let me interrupt you before I forget, because at the end we asked you to show your credentials and how can people find you right now, because people are listening to this and you're really you're educating everyone right now. How can people hire you? How can people find you? Because I think you're one of the most important people in our industry right now, because if you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, that's great. But if you don't get this right and you're looking for a job coming out of this, you're in trouble. So you need to listen to this man. So how do they find you?
So rock on. So on the screen at the bottom, you see my webinar. You can sign up there. That takes you straight to the website. But our website's ePresence.me, and it's ePresence.me because it's all about you. We're a social media agency. We do have a healthy component that focuses on LinkedIn. You go there, you need help on LinkedIn. By the way, we'll do all this for you. If you don't know how to do this, you don't want to do it, that's cool. We can do it for you. Or we have consulting. We'll sit down with you. We'll go through it all and let you know what you need to do and how you clean it up.
Well, hopefully, on the last show, we drove some business to you.
You did. Absolutely.
Awesome.
We got about 5 extra people to jump in the webinar. And I will tell you, that webinar, we do it for 10 people max. Why? Because each of those people in the webinar get personal attention. So we go through, like what we're doing today. This is what we do in the webinar. We go through each of the profiles and say, okay, hey, Anthony, you should change out your picture because I can't see your eyes. Hey, Joe, you need to get better abs in your picture. We go through all of that, right? But we do it in a personal way, and it's hard hitting, and it drives 5 things, just the top 5 things you should have on your profile. And you know what? A lot of people walk out of that. We get very high ratings. It's great fun. We love doing it. And you know what? We're helping people. All the things that you're talking about is why we do all
Right.
that.
I love the positive energy. People are asking, I've got a couple of questions here,
Rock
guys,
on.
but I want to first start by, what about your business page? Any thought on that? Should you have one? How do you think about that? And then a complimentary question to that is, how do you boost business organically when it comes to that? Or is it just about liking everything and following everything?
So, Anthony, you need a company page. You don't have one. And the way I can tell is you don't have a logo here. So if I click this, it's going to take me down to your profile. If you had a page, I'd be able to click into it.
But I have a website. Can I click right in there and go right to my website, or no?
You could, and that's fine. You can't get this. Notice this. Glenn has one for no vacancy.
Yeah, click through it. And guys, if you're not following No Vacancy Podcast, my Rouse Media page, do it. I don't know why it's not showing, but it is there. Oh, there. Boom.
Here we go. Yeah, we're getting there.
There you go.
Now,
boom.
So I will tell you, Glenn, you're killing it. You got almost 1,100 followers. That's great.
Yeah, it's still low, but it's growing. I'm growing 20 to 30 a day right now. It's really fun to see the hospitality community getting behind support on this.
So here, let's flip back. Let's go. Name a hotel. Any hotel. Let's look at their page.
Hilton Anaheim.
Hilton and there we go. So they've got 2,600 followers, and that's how many rooms is that hotel?
1,400.
It's big. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's what, Joe, did you say that?
I'm an encyclopedia.
Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. So this is
how much does the Courtyard by Marriott in Tuscaloosa have?
If they even have a page. Let's
87.
Because of the size hotel, you get a sense of there's a lot of people following. Plus, they have 187 employees. That makes a big difference. To get followers of your page is hard work. And unless you're willing to pay to have it boosted, they may have done that. Or you have your own show, right? And you're reaching a lot of people. It's a little harder to get followers. But here's the value of this is that your branding is there. It's supporting your mission. You only have 3 employees, so to speak, of no vacancy, and you still have 1,100 followers. That is really good. Now, I will tell you, I've got 300 and some odd followers for my page, and I'll tell you how you can grow your followers. Let's get in here. So
I'm a little confused. So basically, it's a LinkedIn page for your business. It's basically
Correct.
Okay. That's it. All right.
Yeah. So it's a LinkedIn.
When did
page.
you start that, Glenn? When did you start?
Way too long ago, but I wasn't really putting a lot of emphasis in it. And Mark, maybe you could address this issue that I had. It was really an existential crisis because I'd been building my LinkedIn page for so many years, and I've got a lot of great followers on there. But I also I want to drive people to my novacancynews.com website, and I want to have a business presence, but it's so muddled. Then I got this LinkedIn Live thing, and I can only go through my profile and not through my business page. And even if I could go through my business page. I didn't really have that many followers, and I had all these great followers on my LinkedIn page. So you could see I could do this back and forth all day. I don't know what to do.
Hey, Glenn, let me ask you a question. Do you want some cheese with that wine?
Yes, I would. I miss wine and cheese.
Yeah. So the answer is you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing right. You do have to have a separate plan for each of them. Let's be honest. I'm not interested in really engaging with a company unless the content that company is sharing impacts me personally. So if you have content that impacts folks personally, then that makes sense that people are going to interact with it. Now this post I interacted with today because you tagged me on it. So that's one way to drive people to it. The long and the short of it is your primary should be your personal page, but you've got to have a company page because of branding, and it shows you're a going entity. And you can share content here. You can go to the about screen and so on. All of that needs to be there, because if I land on someone's profile and they don't have it, they have a company page, but I can't find it. It just creates a barrier where I got to come in and say, okay, I'm looking now for the company page. Where can I find it? Oh, here it is. And then I can go to that website. It's not that it's bad, but it is much more convenient.
Right.
To just stay inside LinkedIn and just get that confirmation, because that's where I'm looking.
Right. So, Joe, you must feel that way too, right? Sometimes if you have to hunt for things, you kind of might get tired of it, and that might prevent somebody from making an effective connection with you, right, Joe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, one of the things I'd love to show you guys is kind of how we push out content to build our brand. If you look at one of the things we haven't done well, admittedly, I don't think, is build our personal JDI LinkedIn brand on the personal page. And a lot of it's because I'm a firm believer that it's really about your personal brand. Before I started JDI, I recruited for another recruiting organization, a great company. And but when I started JDI, they're just like, we don't care what the name of the company is. We're doing business with you. And so a lot, and I think our entire world is moving toward, I don't know if I want to use the word individualism because I don't like that, but we follow people, and the images and the social media and the information you put out there is what helps create that followership. And if you go to my page, one of the things I took away from what Mark just shared is that featured section. I love what he does there, but if you go to my page and you go to my activity, you will see some of the things that we're doing to really, I think of it as just adding value. And I changed my photo back. I did that just for you guys there. I entered into a portal of the universe for about 30 seconds. But if you go to my activity, now you'll see I've got 17,797 followers. That's a lot of influence and that you can have. And then on my side, what I can see is that I've had 3,000 views of my content just recently. And also LinkedIn says, you're an all-star. So if you kind of just go and look, you'll see, there's some things that I'm posting, there's some comments that I'm making, and I'm reaching my world of influence without reaching out directly to them, pulling them into me. We've ran stories here called the Moguls of Hospitality, where we're pushing out just feel-good stories. I think the value that we believe we could bring to hospitality is optimism and hope and just good stories, along with great content. I've got videos on how you can, tips for your resume, tips for how you can use LinkedIn. Sometimes I have videos with my family, funny stuff. I did a series on staying sane, and one of my videos is exercise with my girls on my back while I'm doing push-ups. So it's 80% professional. For me, 20% blending a little bit of personal. And these things are getting a lot of likes, they're getting comments, they're getting engagement. And I'd like to think it's adding value and drawing people into kind of that brand. Like Coca-Cola, I see their label. When someone says my name, I want to have a brand presence.
So let me ask a question, Joe.
Right.
What is going on right now with, we've been into this two and a half months already. What are the executives who are reaching out to you? What are they saying to you? Are they saying, can you get me a job? Or I know there's no jobs right now. Like, so what do I do? Like, what I would imagine right now you're a plethora of information to tell executives exactly what you're seeing and how they should go about getting a job in post-COVID.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing about that answer, Anthony. It's changing so rapidly day by day how I would answer that. And it's from the last time we met 2 weeks ago to today, things are thawing out. The world is starting to shake loose. I will tell you, we were retained to do big general manager searches in LA at a 4-star luxury hotel, a $250,000 to $300,000 salary. Same thing in Washington, D.C. for a major.
Where's this now?
LA. And then another one just like it in D.C. Great companies, great organizations. These urban city center luxury hotels, they're kind of telling me, Joe, we're going to resume that search probably in maybe July or August. Okay, because the urban city centers have been impacted differently. We're getting a lot of phone calls from companies that have Hampton Inns, Hilton Garden Inns, Home 2 Suites, select service properties that are in more suburban markets. They need talent right now. We talked to someone today who runs a company in the Northeast. And one of the things they shared with us is that a lot of their furloughed employees, when they get called to come back to work, they have to come back to work. They can't refuse because they're receiving additional unemployment. But when they come back, every single person is going to make more or less half of what they were making before. So they're going to come back to a salary that's less than what they were making. So there's just some interesting things happening where those particular candidates, they might actually be better off going out and finding another job that could pay them more money. So it's just, it's very fluid. Urban city centers are still not bringing back top talent, and tertiary markets are hiring.
And I'm really having a tough time understanding post-COVID, like how is an executive search firm going to be more valuable? Like, because everybody's looking for a job. So all I got to do is post something and I'll get 100 resumes. So tell me why someone should hire you.
Yeah. My answer to that too is I'm still trying to figure that out. What we've been spending a lot of time, we do 2 video meetings a day. We do one in the morning. I did one right before I came on the show. And then we do one around midday. And one of the things I'm asking everybody is I want you to identify how we can add value in ways we haven't before, because I think we have to pivot. You exist as a business if you offer value, if you help people. And so we're looking for pivots. I think one thing that we do offer value right out of the gate, the top talent, they're not looking right now. They're on unemployment, and a lot of them are satisfied with that. We're having a hard time drumming up talent to come and take general manager jobs to open brand new hotels. There's a hotel opening in July. It's a beautiful hotel. It's select service, but usually we'd have a pile of resumes for that job. And right now we're struggling more than we would pre-COVID.
Wow.
So that's fascinating.
It's fascinating. And I think people are afraid to relocate for jobs right now. And this job requires typically a relocation.
I got a question from the audience on relocation. How do you let people know that you don't need money to relocate? Do they just say that out? How does that work? Because maybe they want the job so bad they don't want the extra travel money or whatever it is.
That's a great question, and that would be incredibly valuable. I guess put that on your resume. In your header, no relocation assistance required, because we read things really fast. Anthony talked about it. I think he said 1.5 seconds, 3 seconds. Put it somewhere where I can see it. That's valuable.
Yeah.
And then after you, Anthony, I got a question. I just have a question from the audience when you're done.
Go ahead and ask that, because I was just going to make
how can mid and lower level employees looking for jobs stand out amongst the influx of executive level job searchers? So I guess what he's saying is a lot of people at this person's level have been thrust into the job market. How can they better stand out as opportunities start to pop up?
I think branding yourself on LinkedIn. I didn't ask him for permission, but there's a guy right now that's furloughed or unemployed that is just doing the best job putting out content every day that makes him just look so polished and professional on LinkedIn. I think it's a way you can stand out.
Great idea.
Yeah, and I think that's all we've been talking about, right? Is how you can stand out. And I think if I'm out there and I'm looking for a job, and you're not talking to Mark or you're not talking to Joe, you're making a mistake. If I was listening to this right now, I would literally get in touch with you guys right after this conversation. And I really loved your answer, Joe. And I was like, how do you show value, or what do you do different? And you're like, we're figuring it out. I'm not really sure. And that is the most authentic answer, because, most people would be like, oh my God, okay, let me give you a real polished answer so I look really, really professional. You were like, we're figuring it out. And if you give me any other answer, you're lying, because it's moving every 30 seconds. The quicksand is shifting every 5 seconds. Yesterday we found out 60%, there's hotels in Dallas that are 60%. That wasn't so 3 days ago. So everything is changing, everything is fluid. And I would have never thought in a million years you would tell me that you're having difficulty filling a general manager job now. I find that absolutely fascinating. So that means you do have value, and your companies and executive search firms will have a great career after this, because it's difficult to navigate this.
Yeah, there's a company that I invested in, and so I became a partner in something that I believed in, and it's called Mogul Recruiter. And I do believe recruiting is going to evolve and change, and we want to be a part of that here at JDI. And companies like Mogul Recruiter could upend and take away segments of business that traditional recruiting firms like ours get. And I love it because it's focused on the people. It's not focused on the executives of the company. It's not focused on organizations. It's focused on the talent and bringing them into a curated hospitality service marketplace. And I bought into the leadership team. Alex Mirza is the CEO. He's a Harvard MBA. He's an executive from Starwood. He's been in the boardroom with Donald Trump. And he got this wild idea placed on his heart to build this company. And I was fortunate to meet him. And I think companies like Mogul Recruiter are going to also innovate the way this is done. And I think if you're out there looking for a job, right now is the time to go build a profile on Mogul Recruiter. It's www.mogulrecruiter.com. I think that would be a place where I would go to start building out my profile to land on my feet at the end of this.
Interesting. All right, Mark, I got a question for you. You had talked about doing videos on the LinkedIn page. And Joe, maybe you could chime in on this. What about the idea of a video cover letter?
Oh, that's interesting. Joe, what do you think about that?
I feel like the upside is low and the downside is high.
Interesting. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. If 100% of people went out and did a video cover letter, if you were a betting man in Vegas, what percent of those are going to be good? The quality of the video is good, the audio is good, and the content's good.
Interesting.
Is it 50%? So I think, and if you make a good video, it probably bumps you up an inch.
What about if you did a
bad
good
video?
TikTok video?
You're done.
What if you did a good TikTok video and sent it along?
I think that's a really good point, Joe, because I just did a video to send to my university this morning. And I'll tell you, it was fine. It wasn't great. And I've been doing this a long time, and I was stressed out. And I was just like, I just sent it to the president of the university. As I'm on the show, he texted me, he goes, it's great. It's not great. It's fine. And I don't want fine. I want the best. And I think that I can't agree with you more. 99% of the people will screw it up. And the 1% of the people that do it right, I'm judging you. And so now you got to hope that the person that's judging you isn't judging you in the wrong way, even if it's a great video. So it's really I think that's a tough.
Well, also, how long should the video be? 0.75 seconds, because you're already spending 1.5 seconds on an actual resume.
30 seconds.
Well, and if you 30 seconds. Now if it's 30 seconds, Mark, right, and you're doing a video and you're trying to get a job, would you wear Glenn's shirt? Yes or no?
Friday.
So I will. Well, in honor of Glenn's ugly shirt, I would say that it would be better.
No,
to
you
go
didn't.
To
I can take you out of this room.
Well, first of all, I don't think it's an ugly shirt. I think it's a very lovely shirt for Easter Sunday. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. My rabbi was impressed too.
If I remember right, when I was on this show last time, you gave him a hard time about his shirt. Is this an ongoing thing?
It just Fridays. I wear more casual clothes because it's Feel Good Friday.
Oh, I like
that. Yeah, but it also unfortunately is Make Glenn Feel Bad Friday.
That's why I don't even wear a shirt.
Yeah.
we got to get you, Joe. We got to get you collar stage though, right here. We got to get you collar stage.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand, Joe. Just do it now. He will not relent. He spent 6 months. Did you get the collar stays? I told you to get collar stays. Why haven't you gotten the collar stays? Here, take my goddamn collar stays. It was a nightmare.
Then what did you do when they gave them to you?
I promptly lost one of them. It was not good.
He literally, we were meeting in Vegas for something. I think it was Vegas. And I said to him, he goes, I'm taking them. So we're in my room preparing for this thing we're doing. And I said, where are the collar stays? And he goes, I lost them.
Paper clips, they work fine.
Well,
no.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, well, you just got to make sure you don't get them cleaned with the paper clips in there.
And he also said like tape is really good too. You get the tape in there as well. Okay, so
what question we got?
Yeah, I don't know. After all
Metal
that fun shirt talk,
and a magnet.
All right.
Well, that's what I have. I have them too. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Cool,
that's what I'm talking about. Right here.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. First of all, thank you, Kim Hodge. You are a wonderful, wonderful human being.
He had to find one person. Did you pay her
I've been working at it for an hour here.
You know what's interesting? What's interesting is Joe had a smile on his face the whole time until I said something about college days. Now he looks like he kicked my ass.
I'm coming for you.
Watch out.
All right,
you
guys.
know what? There's a long line, so just make sure you're wearing a mask.
Can we talk about the videos real quick?
Yeah,
come back to that.
Yeah,
so
and we're going to go back to talk about the videos to make yourself look best on your LinkedIn profile, right?
Right. So one of the things that you could do is remember that in your space, whoever you are, you're a subject matter expert on what you do. You do it full time. You may not feel like what you do is interesting, but I will guarantee you most people don't understand what you do. So put a pad by your desk and write down the questions that people ask you where you know you're giving value. So if somebody calls you and say, hey, what's that clause on the contract? That's a interesting thing that people don't know. You could do a quick 30-second video and just drop it in your feed. And then as you do this, you're going to get better at it because Anthony will tell you the more often that you do little video, the better you're going to get at it. And after a while, these little 30-second, hey, I just thought this just came up today. I wanted to share this with you. You'll find that you're producing decent content. And here's what's happening. If I see you sharing this type of content on your LinkedIn profile, I'm going to be impressed. And I am more likely to hire someone who is being proactive and sharing good quality info and just push it to your feed. Every once in a while, you'll get one that's great. Add that to the feature tile on your profile, but you don't want to put every one.
You know what I would add to that is if you are doing it, right, and say you're reading it, right, first of all, make sure the people can't see that you're reading it. Number two, if you do mess up and it's funny, go with it. Don't edit it out. Like if it's genuine. Silly, if it makes you look stupid, obviously you're not going to do that. But if it's silly and you recover quickly and you can make fun of yourself, that to me is really important. I mean, we do it on the show all the time.
If you want to learn how to do that, watch this show.
Yeah, no, but I think that's really valuable. You know, one of the things that I learned, I've been a hotel executive for a really long time. When I started doing the show, people would stop me all the time and say, "You're funny." Never in a million years would I think that people would stop me and say, "You're funny." I was like, "What do you mean funny?" Like, I'm not, what do you mean? Like a clown funny? No, I mean, like, what do you mean? I didn't understand what you mean by funny. It's like, because in those moments that are uncomfortable, you'll look at the camera and you'll say something, or you'll see something to the owner that he wasn't expecting. So I think that's really important. And that's a skill set, taking stressful situations and kind of making not light of it, but kind of shifting the energy in the room. I think that is probably the biggest skill set right now that you can use. When we had Rob from G6 on the other day, he was like, his energy is so positive, but when he was talking about details and he was talking about business, he was as serious as a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Just want to mention Mogul Recruiter. We got that scrolling down there right now. And then I just want to bring it full circle for a second for what we were talking about before and tie it to hospitality. Hey, I had the Delano and concierge in Vegas looking for college days. They came through. So, Anthony, maybe we should have relied on the help of the concierges over there to get me through that emergency.
Well, yeah, don't get me started, because unfortunately, I think post-COVID concierge is going to have a problem, because I think a lot of desks are going to be closed, and that's unfortunate. But to me, the difference between a good 4-star and a bad 4-star is the concierge, because they basically have all the same standards. So,
Right.
Anybody's listening, keep the concierge desk. It's the most important part of the hotel if you're trying to differentiate yourself between 4 and 5-star. That's just my opinion.
Right. Another question coming from the audience. Joe, this one's addressed to you. When sites ask you for salary requirements, is it best to leave it blank or leave a value? Great question.
Yeah, that is a really great question. Before I answer that, I'll give you a couple rules of thumb. If you're a candidate and you tell a hiring manager that you're looking for $90,000 to $100,000 a year, what do you think the company just heard?
That's right. 90.
They heard 90. Now on the other
I
side,
heard 75.
yeah, exactly. So now if I'm a company and I tell a candidate this job pays 90 to 100, what did the candidate hear? He heard 105.
They hear 150.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I think it's best to leave it blank, because big changes happen in a sequence of small steps. And if you are going to stretch my budget, you could call me and tell me about a Lamborghini and tell me the price, and I'll go, no. You pull it up to my door and let me drive it, I might change my mind. I don't know. I have a chance. So I like you to leave your salary blank when you're applying for a job. Give yourself a chance to get into the conversation and see what happens. You never know how the dominoes will fall.
You know, when I was recruiting top talent, and they're one-on-one with me, and we don't know what their salary requirement is, this is what I do almost exclusively. Write down your salary request, and I'm going to write down what we can afford. Okay. I did it every time in the last 10 years I was running hotels. I should write down. They're uncomfortable. It's like, well, really, what can you afford? Tell me. So, you write it down. I write it down. I'm not going to look at you. You don't look at me. And I would write it on the back of their resume. I would put it down, and they'd say, flip yours over. 100% of the time, it was less than what I was going to offer them. I would turn mine over and say, that's your salary. It was always higher what they asked for. And I always did that for 2 reasons. Because if I'm at that point with you, there's a value in you that I see that I haven't seen in anybody else. And you don't see it in yourself, because we're not good agents of ourselves. That's why people like people on TV like me have agents, because we're not good at evaluating our talent. Not one time had anybody put a price higher than what I was going to offer them. And sometimes it was significantly higher. And I would turn it over, and they'd look at me and they're like, really? I was like, yeah, because that's your value to me. Now you better, and I said, but the only problem with that is I'm really difficult to work for. So you better, that standard better be where I think it should be. And I find that fascinating, because you really immediately gain trust of that employee. You immediately like, wow, this guy just gave me more money. Where's that? What's the book you're showing me?
So it's Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Okay. Every realtor, and you can't see it because it's not showing it right. Every realtor in the country is reading this, because it's all about, Joe, do you have this book?
My whole team's read it. We love it.
It is brilliant, and it will help not only you, Anthony, when it comes to negotiating when you're buying or selling. It's unbelievable. So Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
But is that agreeing or disagreeing with what I just said? I don't understand.
It is a why
don't we just split the difference on whether or not you understand it?
That's right.
No, I don't understand what the point is.
Point is, it's all about negotiating.
What's the book?
It's all about negotiating. How do you negotiate well? And I think what you did with the salary is brilliant. It really eliminated.
That's what I need to hear. We can move on.
Shrank the conversation, made it a lot more succinct. I think that's very smart.
Yeah, and I want to move past any part of the conversation where Anthony is singled out his brother.
No, but you know what? The most important thing, when you get to that point, this is really, really critical to me. When I get to that point, I fall in love with you, you fall in love with me, you want to work here, I want to work here. You feel the energy. The one thing I don't want to do is get off to the wrong foot. And no matter what you do, if you start negotiating and haggling over your salary with me, I'm probably going to outperform you because I've been doing it for 30 years. You're not going to beat me. So instead of even like it's a used car salesman, it's like you're not gonna win. So why don't I just tell you what I'm willing to pay you? And for some reason, if your price is higher than what I'm willing to afford, I'm probably going to give it to you because I wouldn't have done that exercise if I wasn't going to give it to you.
Everybody watching this, when you're going for a job with Anthony, now you know what to do.
That's right.
Hey, Anthony, I'd like to.
Let me tell you something. When they take the job, at the end of it, they're like, I don't know if that was worth it.
Yeah. So Dale Ross over at Hotel Effectiveness, who was just on our show this past week or so, said, magical phrase for all candidates, I'll consider it, or I'd consider it. What do you think about that? I'd consider it. That's
not with me. I don't like that at all. That's just my personal opinion.
All right. What
do you mean you'll consider it? I don't understand. Like I just offered you something and you said, well, I'll consider that. That would probably get my Italian going.
Yeah. Oh boy, we don't want to get your Italian going. Oh my goodness. All right. So, any other questions from the audience? This would be a good time to get it out now, as we've been on air for well over an hour over here. Guys, any other thoughts? Anything that we've missed today that you feel that we should be talking about?
One thing I wanted to swing back to that we talked about last week, and that applies to this. So today we're talking a lot about LinkedIn, and Anthony said something last week, 2 weeks ago, that I loved, and he really, I can't quote it exactly, but every big thing is 1,000 little things. So your push to get your next job or to brand yourself as your next promotion, maybe you are employed right now, it's 1,000 little things. So LinkedIn's just one of them, and it's a big thing. But right now, I think a lot of people assume there's no jobs out there and they're not reaching out. I got an email from someone today, and I haven't gotten back to him yet. And I loved it because he's a hotel GM. There isn't a job for him right now. But he's making outreach to me to say, hey, Joe, I know things are quiet. I just want to let you know I'm still here. I think being persistent, like we talked about, is part of this strategy to get that next job. I think a lot of people are sitting assumptively just waiting for this to blow over. And I think you have to be proactive. Reach out to all the resources. I'm not the only resource. There's tons of resources. A recruiter is one of them. You have to reach out to all of them and be proactive with the phone and with your email.
Excellent. I do hear there's a job open for a GM position for a new hotel opening up in the June-July timeframe. Maybe let him know about that one.
We need a GM in Lexington, Kentucky. We need a GM in somewhere in Wisconsin. We have quite a few GM openings right now. So, and a lot of executive nursing.
The Lexington, Kentucky hotel, does it happen to be a very big white hotel?
No, it's
I did that on my show. I was just wondering.
It's going to be a home 2 suites.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of executive director opportunities at assisted living, really high quality luxury assisted living in the senior living. For hotel GMs that might be interested in jumping over.
And I will also tell people the extended stay market after post-COVID is going to explode. So if you have not been in extended stay, start looking at that market because right now they're seeing an explosion.
Oh yeah, and I just spoke with somebody. We're going to get Bruce Haas, the CEO of Extended Stay America, on the show in the next couple of weeks as well. So we'll learn a little bit more about extended stay there. And if you're interested in going from hospitality to healthcare, we did a show on that last week as well. So check Anthony's profile page, check my profile page, check novacancynews.com, and you'll find all of our past shows.
And I will tell you that if you want to get on our show, I just found out last night talking to Glenn, our producer, we're basically booked to mid-June. So you better be calling us now. And thank you for everyone that's watching it because it seems like there's a lot of people want to kind of give their vantage point. And again, if you're selling a product, probably not going to come on our show. But if you're selling your vantage point of what the business looks like, we'll be happy to hear you. So it's just great. And again, thank you to Glenn, the producers, because I was pretty surprised that we're pretty full till June.
Yeah, well, if you are selling a product, reach out to me because we've got a sales team that we're putting together over here because we've got to make this work. See, because when things end, when the world changes, you got to find opportunity. And Anthony and I are trying to create a little
Oh,
opportunity.
there's definitely opportunity for sponsorships. I'm just saying, don't think you're going to come on the program and sell. Like Mark, what I did for Mark was organic. I really don't think if you're not using Mark or you're not using Joe, you're not paying attention to this program. If Mark said to me, "Hey, Anthony, can you mention it?" I wouldn't. But I really believe and feel that his product is matter of fact, as soon as this is over and I have some free time tonight, I'm going to go look at my LinkedIn page. I'm probably going to call you, Mark, and say, Mark, just look at my LinkedIn page, do what you think is right, and send Glenn the bill.
So Anthony, that's cool. Do that. But if you call me after 6, I will probably have my bourbon in front of me. So I don't want to endorse what I say to you.
Okay.
All right. I like that. Which bourbon are you going to be drinking this evening?
So I'll be if you really want this, I'll be making a Sazerac. So Sazerac whiskey with a little Galliano and a little simple syrup, a couple dashes of bitters. I'm rocking it.
I like it. I think next week we're going to be featuring the Balvenie as our alcoholic beverage of the week as we begin our weekly drinking here, and we're going to do more. We had such a great response from last week's cocktail making that we've worked out an agreement, and we were going to have brand ambassadors coming on from some major liquor brands starting next week.
And are we going to have non-alcoholic beverages also, Glenn?
We are not. Our audience is welcome to have as many as they'd like. I am going to choose to refrain. Guys, yeah.
All right.
Hey,
before we end the show, I'm going to be Glenn for a second. Before we end the show, Glenn, what were you going to say?
I was going to say before we end the show.
Before we end the show, Joe and Mark, tell us where we can find it.
Joe, go first.
Okay, yeah. You can email me, joe.rice@jdisearch.com, our website, www.jdisearch.com. Also talked about, you can find me on the Mogul website where I'm a partner and an advisor, www.mogulrecruiter.com. Those are the ways you can find me.
Mark?
So we've talked a lot about my individual webinar. It's epresence.me/webinar, epresence.me/webinar. I also speak to groups. So if you're a group, you're looking for some content for your how to engage your association members or your civic group, I'd love to talk to you. Same website, epresence.me groups, just like it says on the screen. And I'd love to talk to any of you guys. I'd love to help.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Really appreciate it. Anthony, any final words before we let these gentlemen go?
No, Mark and Joe, I'll probably be in touch with both of you. Not looking for a job.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Man, oh man, what a great freaking show we had again this week, Anthony.
News you can use.
Right?
That's what the show's becoming. News you can use.
If you want some more news that you can use, be sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter there. Just text the word hotel to 66866. That's the word hotel to 66866. Producer Jeff, you're supposed to bring up the visual. There we go. Heck Hotel to 66866 for more content. This Sunday, I'm featuring all of the cleaning requirements that all of the brands have put out. So be sure to check that out, as well as a recap of all these great shows that we're doing here every week. And Anthony, I'm feeling like we need a little more hospitality success. How can we find it?
Starting May 19th on Tuesday, I'm starting a webinar series. Okay, me and my partner, Jeremy. I will be doing the first one. And the first one is about those standards you're talking about, my friend. I spent a couple of hours yesterday going through all the standards, making them my own, thinking about everything in the hotel. And I will tell you something. This is a big job. Thinking about how you reopen the hotel. I'll give you an example, Glenn. We'll do it right here. What do you do with the hangers in the room?
Yeah.
Now that we're going to a new world, what do you go? Are you going to touch those hangers? Do you want new hangers? Do you not want hangers?
I don't know. I don't think you could do anything because some of them are just locked in there because they don't ever want you to take them away from them.
But how do you clean them?
I guess you would have to do it individually, but that seems like a real pain in the butt to do that repeatedly. I mean, maybe once, but other than that.
So we give you answers to every single question that are efficient, that are cost effective. And so we're looking at every single issue in the hotel from literally the second you make the reservation. What do I want to hear? What do I want to see with my confirmation? Do I want to hear the hygiene rules? When you valet park a car, how do I take a ticket?
Right.
How do I check in if I don't have a technology that lets me check in seamlessly without going to the front desk? So we're going through it detail by detail by detail. And Kalindra, my assistant, has been amazing. And so thank you very much for letting me say that. The 19th of May, Hospitality Success, we're starting a webinar. Go on. You'll start seeing ability to sign up for it. We're doing
Scroll on the bottom.
We're doing a 4-week series. The second week will be about revenue management. We just got off with a client today talking about his business has gone up in May, is actually doing better numbers than it did last year. He's seeing tremendous growth. It's a destination fishing lodge that is in a location that that kind of makes you feel that you're in the wild. So you're in the woods and you're not around people, and that's kind of what people are looking for. So there's a lot of things to think about how to take that rate and make sure that you're driving the rate the proper way, and other opportunities that we're going to talk about in our webinar series. So hospitalitysuccess.com or Hospitality Success on Facebook. What are you doing this weekend?
I am launching my new business, Hangers by Hausman, my first full line of antibacterial hangers. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So come around and hang with us this weekend. I'm going to be making some beef jerky. If it doesn't rain, I'm hoping to have some Mother's Day social distancing going on around here, but we'll see what happens. What about you?
So are you going to see your mom this weekend?
Possibly. We'll see.
That's great.
Yeah, we saw her last week, so I think she's probably had enough of me for a while.
Okay. What's interesting, first of all, that Hangers commercial was absolutely brilliant. That was really fun. And number two, you're not wearing the stays that we're talking about, but you have the button, bro. Can't you just button the shirt?
I know. I just got too casual today. I totally blanked on it. I don't know what to tell you. By Fridays, I am emotionally depleted. This is a marathon that we're being on. And one of the bright spots, though, is we get to share some airtime with all of these great viewers every single day.
So for Glenn, for Anthony, thanks for checking in.
And remember, you've got one life, so blaze on. Ha ha. See you guys later.